All right, shalom, shalom. I want to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone, as well as those men that preach and teach the likewise doctrine. No compromises, no mixing it to fix it. Shalom to all the Akim and a few Aquas who may be listening. It's your brother Batakala Yahweh from the GMS camp here in Chicago, coming back at you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. We're going to play this clip, and then, Lord willing, we're going to get some scripture.
It's a fucked up system. I mean, the way it's set up, the way when I've brought in Josh Dubin, he's explained it, and he's brought in people that have gone on to become lawyers, like who learned law in prison, being unjustly accused, and then got themselves out, and then helped to get other people out. And that's the real tragedy in this country when it comes to these cities that are fucked up, and they've been fucked up for a long time, is that nothing changes in terms of like the overall approach as a the government itself, like the country itself, to look at these spots where things are fucked up and say, hey, this shouldn't be that fucked up. Like, we should help that, right? Like,
Yeah.
It was just us, all of us in the world. And we found out that Hans Kim was in a tent underneath the bridge. You're like, Hans, why are you in a fucking tent under the bridge? What's going on, man? Like, oh, shit went bad, and my girlfriend kicked me out, and I didn't know what to do. And come live with us. We got a spare bedroom. That's how it's supposed to be in the world, right? But when it gets too many people, you can't do that anymore. It's a fucked up system. I mean, the way.
Now, as you can see, we got Joe Rogan here, who was a Jake, and he's talking about how bad the overall system of government and just the mentality of people in the society is, you know, especially when it comes to as far as the government is concerned, when it comes to how the justice system works, quote unquote, and as far as people are concerned, you know, just how giving and, you know, really how selfish people are in this society. Non-giving and selfish, like as I said, giving, but how selfish people are in the society. But we're gonna start off with this because he was complaining, and it's for a reason. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. All right, and we know right now that the so-called white man, Esau Edom, the border of wickedness, as the scriptures call him, is the one that's in rulership on the earth right now. All right. And he's not doing nothing but carrying out a bunch of wicked ass plans and devices, even among his own people. All right. Jake is obviously the number one target, but Esau is so wicked and is made in a way that whether you a Jake or not, you know, Esau gonna roll over anybody. Jake is the number one target, but Esau don't got a problem fucking his own people over. He don't got a problem fucking the other heathens over. And he definitely ain't got a problem fucking Jake over, all right? But that's the place we in right now, and it's our captivity. And a lot of these people don't understand it. I will wager that Joe Rogan, he's a higher upper entertainer, so he might know. But, you know, he may or may not know that he's even a Jake, man. So all of these things, they don't really register for him the way that Salakia, the way that he to where he can understand it, all right? But one thing that he mentioned, Salakia, like I said, is that you know, people will be homeless and individuals, you know, instead of the world being in a way where people will just help others, that is not like that. You know, people will just let somebody fall down and be fucked up out here and won't say nothing. All right, but it's a reason for that. All right, this the book of Sirach, chapter 10 and verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. All right, so the reason that people are so selfish in this day and age, are so violent, because the reason that people got this Mo demon on them now is because the person that's in charge, the people that run this society are selfish. They a bunch of moles and pansexuals. Okay, they a bunch of killers, a bunch of drug dealers. All of the things that are glorified in this society, they try to make it seem like Jake is the face of it. And you know, a lot of you niggas participate in this shit, no doubt. But really, the person that's feeding all of this to everybody is Esau. And It's because it's his behavior as well. All right. So now everybody want to be like Esau, and that's why all this shit is popular now. All right. This is verse 3. Sirach 10 and 3. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. All right. So Esau is an unwise king, which is why his society is falling, which is why the earth is dying under his, while he's presiding over it. All right. Everything that he does brings the world closer to destruction. All right. And the second, and the destruction that's coming is going to be won by fire, where the Lord comes back and destroys Esau and his society. But everything Esau do moves the ball forward to this, and that's why shit is the way it is. And it's so bad now that, like, when Joe Rogan had mentioned that people won't even reach out to help somebody to stay in their house when they're homeless, some of that is from people being selfish and being wicked, but some of that is also from people being prudent and being smart, because a lot of these niggas that's homeless are really wicked motherfuckers, man. And you let one of these people in your house, they could kill you, they could rob you, they could have unconsensual relations with anybody in your family. They can do all type of shit. All right. So since it's normal for people to just be wicked, it make it impossible for you to trust other people. All right. Which is why this truth is so valuable, because when you dealing amongst the Akim and amongst the brotherhood, you can trust everybody, and whoever violates that trust, the Lord will deal with them. You don't gotta worry about being on eggshells when you dealing with Jake. Well, not with Jake. When you dealing with brothers, Salakia, because you can be a Jake and not be in the truth. But let me get the next one. All right, so this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10 and verse 5. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceedeth from the ruler. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place. I have seen servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. He that diggeth a pit shall fall into it, and whoso breaketh an hedge, a serpent shall bite him. All right. So like I've been saying, this society, the problems in the society start off from the top, and it comes down. The ruler is wicked. Everybody else is wicked. The ruler sets folly and places folly in a dignified place, because that's what their life is. That's what Edomites do, is a bunch of folly ass shit, but they dignify it. Now niggas doing that. All right. You got Jake, that's supposed to be the kings of the earth, northern and southern kingdoms, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the speckled bird as well. We supposed to be the rulers of the earth, but we in a low place right now because of transgressions that we had against the Lord. So now Esau, the one who's supposed to be at the bottom, the one who is really the real nigger, the servant of the earth, or one of the servants, Salakia, someone who's supposed to be a servant, is the one that's in charge, and don't got no qualifications, nothing, just doing whatever they want to do, and it's ruining everything. All right. But all these things that they doing is going to come back on them. Everything they do to somebody else, they're going to have to deal with. Every time they try to set a trap for Jake, especially now, all of these traps, they falling into them. Example, they tried to now of course E is a Mo in general. That's a part of his doctrine is being a Mo. But for those who don't know, alternative lifestyle, someone who live an alternative lifestyle. But he tried to put that Mo demon on Jake's, and it's well known that when I was growing up in the 90s, I was born in 94. When I was growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s, you couldn't be walking around here alternative lifestyle and you lived in the hood, man. Dudes will beat you up and rob you. You'll get beat up at school by everybody. You'll get made fun of and shamed at school, in the neighborhood, wherever. Your family will shame you. This is how things supposed to be. This is what our culture dictates. We don't tolerate that Mo spirit. And really, according to the law, Jake in the past was putting Mo's to death. All right. Now we can't do that here because we're in captivity, but we can still not stand for it. And it was a particular point in time that's not that far, not the so distant past where Jake wasn't dealing with that. All right, but Esau ended up putting that demon on Jake, and now a lot of Jakes is cool with being moles. But what has that done? Now the demon also jumped on Esau because Esau just put it out there in the world that they targeting Jake when they do shit, but they just put it out in the world. So then when Jake do something, it look cool because Jake got the salt. Now all these Edomites, you know, they got a predisposition to be moles, but it's even more now. When I was growing up, coming up in the late '90s and the early 2000s, you didn't see moles just walking around proud. That wasn't a thing back then. You'll get beat up for that. Pause. Dudes will rob you. You'll get harassed. Pause. Now, dudes is dressing up like ladies deliberately, walking down the street, don't give a fuck. Dudes is boisterously being an alternative lifestyle liver, just out loud. Stuff like that wasn't a thing back then. But now everybody's doing it, and it's affecting E worse than anybody. They got the worst birth numbers out of all the demographics, according to their own studies. It's less Edomites being born than it is Edomites dying now. Why? Because most of them moles, and the ones that's not moles are weak and losers, and all they women want to deal with Jake, so they don't get no women either. All right? Well, let's move on. I went on the rant a little bit, Salakia. All right? We're going to get to the next one. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, and verse 14. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause someone to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness, and drink the wine of violence. All right, so Salakia. So when you in this truth, you learn to understand who Esau is, and of course, most Jakes know that the white man is the devil, but it's way deeper than that, And when you come into the truth, you start to really understand who Esau is, how he moves, and the things that you need to do to avoid dealing with him, as far as to where you can get fucked over. Now, of course, whatever happens to you, the Lord wills it, but it's a lot of Jakes that's caught in the system fucking around with Esau, man, and it's because they do certain things that set up for them to do so that they can get hemmed up. All right, like even with the music, Esau set the music industry up as far as rap music to entice Jakes to go off and do wicked criminal shit, selling drugs, killing niggas, all type of shit. And now this puts you on a path where you got to deal with the justice system. Then once you're dealing with the justice system, they can fuck you over, and you may not have even done some shit, or however you end up getting hemmed up by the law might not have necessarily been legal. But because you a Jake and you ain't got no money, you going to jail for this shit. And that's not to say that you wasn't being wicked according to the laws of the Lord, but it's still Esau catch niggas that's wicked all the time in unwicked ways, and niggas just end up having to deal with that shit. All right. But when you decide that you're gonna follow the Lord and do the things that the Lord say to do, you on a different path where you less likely for Esau to put certain shit on you. Now, of course, we understand that what we doing is illegal as far as teaching this truth, even though Esau ain't like made a law on the books about it where like you can go and look up this law and say it's illegal to teach the truth. But what we doing is illegal according to Esau, and certain brothers are going to get arrested and have to deal with with Esau, in a physical way, and when that day comes. But what I'm talking about is niggas selling drugs, niggas doing shit like that. It's ways to avoid getting involved in the penal system. All right, pause. And the best way to do that is to just, you know, sacrifice your life for the Lord and follow the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, including the correct doctrine, and stop being a nigger, man. Cause like the scriptures say, Esau is all day and all night figuring ways out to get you fucked up, man. They can't sleep unless they fucking people up. So you gotta be armed with wisdom, and you gotta have faith in the Lord and have the Lord on your side to be able to avoid all of these things, man. Because it's 1.5 million ways. It's an infinite amount of ways that this Edomite got to fuck niggas over, man. Pause. All right, we're gonna get this last one to close out, Salakia. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 10. When it goeth well with the righteous, the city rejoiceth, and when the wicked perish, there is shouting. All right? And this is the thing. That day is going to come here soon, man. The Lord is coming back to dethrone Esau, to allow us and to aid us in enslaving these Edomites and getting out of this captivity, including the other heathens. And the world is going to rejoice when that happens. Even these other heathens that got to go into slavery, once they serve their sentence and they done, and maybe even prior to that, because, you know, who knows, man? So, you know, some of these heathens may enjoy their lot as a slave for Jake better than they enjoy their lot in this life as a slave for Esau, because everybody is slave for Esau. They the ones in charge. That's just me speaking as a man, but, you know, these heathens, they're gonna quickly realize that they better off with us in charge than with Esau in charge. They even gonna understand that they better off with us in charge than with they self being in charge. All right, and everybody's gonna be happy to be rid of Esau. It's so much shit that gets started in the world that would have never got started if Esau didn't get involved. A vast majority of the problems of this earth, if not all of them, was started by an Edomite, man. Once that problem is removed, it's not going to be no more problems after that. And anybody that want to stir up and cause trouble is going to get dealt with by the Lord and by the men of the Lord. All right, but with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Akakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone, as well as those men that preach and teach the likewise doctrine. No compromises, no mixing it to fix it. Shalom to the Akim and a few Akwat who may be listening. And until next time, Lord willing, Shalom.